サードコーストベースラジオ
راديو الساحل الثالث بأس
第三海岸第一收音机
Третий радио Базары
Basisir Bas Radio Katilu.
Yo, what the fuck is up, everybody? It's Metaphysic and Kid Luna.
What's up, guys?
Yo, this is Third Coast Base Radio, Season 1, Episode 2, and today we're gonna fucking feature NIK P and Evolv. You already know it's gonna get fucking wild.
Mental.
Fucking mental.
me, you better mind your back.
Mind your back. Every nigga message to me, try to flee. But it's war, resistant to what I was a lot of something that you don't know. You definitely wanted what the me, oh no. Looking at me like when your hands are so low. City had arm to the law, put the rocket at the pocket, blew it off, and now his hands so low. Try to wait to me. Paralyzed, let's find down. Let me go position. Paralyzed, let's find down. Let me go position. Paralyzed, let's find down. Let me go position. Get it straight down. I'm right now, aimlessly. Living in a black dream, never dreaming. Living in a black dream, never dreaming. Every fancy on the flat screen. Be in the flat with the cat won't crack with the eye.
Drop.
Your girl up all night, eating up your data on your new iPhone. I roam alone. Man, I'm looking for paradise, but I'm always east of Eden. I'm preaching, try to save these demons and these angels, save these ancient teachings. Man, beware what you preaching, cause I got the juice and the reaching. Yeah. Beware what you're teaching, cause we got the juice in the reaching. And I move like an ancient man. I ain't speaking Spanglish, man. Leave them lost in translation. United, one nation.
sinner. I'm a sinner.
Bomber calling, come again. Walla long, walla long. Foreigner bomber calling, come again. Walla long ling, walla long ling, walla long ling. We ain't along with bomber call them again. Walla long ling.
It's a new day, nobody ain't telling me shit. Don't mess about, so I take down enemies quick. Can't leave grime cause I love that, or can't you tell? I told myself I don't really give a F when my enemies did. Got skill, it's not a myth, how I exist. I took 1-5, yeah, I took the piss. If I take shots, so I ain't gonna miss. So I may as well it's a new day, nobody ain't telling me shit.
Bomber calling, come again. Walla long ling, walla long ling, walla long ling. We ain't along with bomber call them again. Walla long ling.
Mic check. We're live. Mic check. Yeah. Truth. Just drift with me. Would you just drift with me? Can you just drift with me? Would you just drift with me? I don't really trust. I remember looking at a bag of cotton balls. Yeah. Great grandma was a slave and our hands were raw. No nail polish, no hospital's bra. Nope. It's closer than you think, it's living history, ha. The real Jurassic Park and ain't no mystery, ha. Anger manifested in my energy, ja. Elohim hear me scream. Fuck 40 acres, I'm a human being with older genes. Digitize your attention into memes. Deja vu, the boys in blue. Rapid attacks, black rendezvous at a funeral. My team mix schizos. Pass the heat like I'm Nash though. Irony, MVP's owed. Holy roses, stuck in poses, man. And they stuck in prosing. What's up? Protocol, or the call to pros. I gotta catch them all, like they minerals. I gotta feed them all. I take 10 dimes, make a silver dollar, make her wanna holler. God damn, I'm like the Dolly scammer. Spitting up that real shit. Okay. When I speak, it's pure glyphs. I give a fucking dyke a stiff, make her jealous and hit a favorite riff like I'm Jimmy Page. Get on my page, wanna engage with a 12 gauge. You daydreaming, I stay streaming. Goddamn, you feel my demons, you feel my angels. All is sacred, but goddamn, fuck them both naked. Yeah, balls to the walls, walking around like I'm commando. You worried about your fucking brando? I got all the bandos. Flip that green and the white. Be Brett Favre overnight. My field is Lambo. You niggas drive way too slow. Supernatural on a dialect or the flow or the Vedic tradition. Goddamn, she riding it like it was a mission. Missionary, give it to her. Oh, it's so scary. Can you feel the lines while I take this line. Yo, I'm better in time. They violate your being for probable cause. No. Take away your college for probable cause. And kill your baby brother for probable cause. See, the overfed pig is the probable cause. Would you just drift with me? Just drift with me. Just drift with me. Just drift with me. Could you just drift with me? Could you just drift with me? Would you drift with me?
Alright, so we're here with fucking Nik P. This guy just absolutely fucking murdered it with his mix, man. So let's just get right into it. So who the hell is Nik P? Let's tell the crowd, like, your background, how you came to be, your life story, things like that. They want to get to know the human you, not the man behind the machine.
Alright, well, first of all, I just want to give a quick shout to my brother, Bershad, for giving me the opportunity to, play my first all original mix. I just played a lot of my tunes that I've been working on lately. And my life story, I guess let's get into it. I lived in a lot of places growing up. I was born in Denver, Colorado. I lived there for 5 years. And then my family moved to Washington State, to the city called Spokane. And I lived there for about 10 years. I did my elementary school, kindergarten, and whatnot, and started middle school. And then during that time, my dad was working in Australia a lot, so we weren't able to see him a lot. So my parents decided, let's just move to Australia for a year and kind of get immersed there and just go to school there, just kind of get a cool life experience. And so I lived there for about a year. It tried to be a little longer than a year, and it was definitely one of the best experiences of my life. Got to see the cultures from a different perspective and everything. And after that, moved back to Washington State. And that was also the point where my parents were deciding to move to a different state, mainly because they wanted to move to somewhere where most of their friends were. And Washington was kind of getting bleak and lonely out there. So as a family, we moved to Texas, where I finished high school essentially, and really where I kind of got my roots and met a lot of people in my life that I am proud to call my friend and whatnot. And basically, really long story short, went to high school, graduated in 2014. I went to Purdue University in Indiana for 2 years, and then I transferred back to Dallas because I really wanted to be back in a bigger city with a lot more going on, especially music-wise, because when I was out there in Indiana, where I was also learning how to produce and DJ, there was nothing happening out there. It was just getting really boring. Yeah. School was really hard too, and I just wanted to be at a better place. So I came back here, and that's where I think, at least in the past 2-3 years, I've met most of my friends who regularly inspire me to keep going, and it's been a good time ever since. And I don't know, here we are now, making moves.
So would you say living here in Dallas is it's kind of the mecca of, all right, this is where you decided, hey, I want to make fucking music here, right? You say that you were kind of DJing and producing back then, but was it the Dallas scene itself that kind of was just the inspiration, or?
Right. So basically, I started producing and on my own accord, really, because I was so into music. Near my ending years of high school and in college, I was really into music. I was really into just by the time I had to DJ, I was essentially fully prepared because I had all of my music already downloaded. Yeah. Because I like to download my music and listen to it, and logically for producing, I just wanted to make these cool sounds that I regularly hear and just make stuff that I enjoy. And I would say with Dallas coming into the picture, I think it helped in two ways. One, that I was able to surround myself with friends who would help inspire me, and who are all in the same interests. I would say, like, when I was in Indiana, I was a little bit less inspired, but at the same time, I mean, I could say I was also inspired because, like, there was nothing really going on, and it's like, really up to me to make the most difference in my life. But Dallas was, I don't know, like, it was, there's just a lot happening in Dallas. There's always something going on, and I feel like that did help me at least kind of establish myself better. I also, like, learned a lot from a lot of people, a lot of professionals in the industry on how to essentially just shape myself to be in order to, like, make this a reality, or just whatever I wanted to do, like, albeit even music. Like, it's just how hard I work, how much dedication you put into your craft, whether it's not even music, or if it is just music. Like, I think it's just about the people I met, and, like, I met people who shaped me the way I am now in college, and then I met people who shaped me, as a person, in the music industry, or just in general, like, life lessons, I would say. And so it kind of all culminated to me in Dallas, and that, I guess the peak of all of that happened in Dallas, where, like, I feel like I've matured a lot, and I have a lot of knowledge on what I should do. I have a plan, at least, I think.
Nice.
Of how I want to do things, essentially. So yeah, I'll say that like, I really like Dallas, and I would say it is kind of my mecca. Like, I don't want to go anywhere else. Like, it's just really, like, it's all I need. I don't need too much going on, but just enough to keep me inspired.
Fuck yeah, that's great to hear, man. Yeah, Dallas is, it's a smorgasbord of talent, and I'm just glad that we were able to actually, you know, link up and be on the same trajectory path, because your shit's
Right.
fucking crazy, man. So these tracks of yours, this mix, absolutely fucking bonkers. Let's get into the tracks that you produced. I think you had a couple of unreleased, some collabs in there. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so basically, this is probably one of my first all original mixes I've ever attempted to do, and at first I was kind of like, let's just see if I can get this all together, and it turned out really well. Like, I'm actually pretty proud to just see it together. My mix is mostly composed of, I think there's only one release song in there, which is the first song I played, my Jack My Flow remix that I released on Prime not too long ago in August. And then the rest of the songs are a lot of collabs that I have with a bunch of people that are currently being finished up at this point. Most of them are pretty much done. And then I have a few originals in there that will probably be coming out real soon, I think. Like, I think some this month and next month, and then just a bunch that are pretty much to be announced at this point. But yeah, I have a lot of collabs in there. Like, probably like one with my boy Immaculate, which I released a song with. I don't know, it's been a little while, like 3 to 4 months ago. I have a song with my boy named Trasher. I have a song with a ton of people.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting, but it's tracks with the homies, and I'm super stoked with how they turned out. And I got so much more coming through. Just gotta finish. Which is the main struggle as being a producer, is you gotta just be prolific, and you gotta keep grinding. You gotta keep creating, but then you also gotta keep finishing at the same time, and it's that balance between the two which really helps you grow. In the sense of producing.
Most definitely. So let's talk about your production process. Like, whenever you open up whatever DAW you're using, if you got a clean slate, how do you turn a clean slate into Jack My Flow, because that shit was crazy, or that any of these other tracks that you're playing? How do you go about making that, that nothing into fucking gold, as to say?
Right. So, basically, whenever I start with an idea, so like I use Ableton Live, and I really just, at least nowadays, I think my workflow has changed significantly just over the years. Like, nowadays, like, I just kind of start with with drums, like a kick and snare, and then try to get something interesting going on, like add some percussion, add some fills, whatnot, and then I usually try to get some sort of bass line down. And this workflow also depends on like one of two decisions. It's like, sometimes I start with a random ass crazy sample, or like two, if I just want to just get a beat down, then I go from there, and then write a bass line, and then fit something into it. That's kind of how Jack My Flow came to be. I was gonna remix that track, and then I had all the stems and whatnot, right? And then I just wrote all these drums, and then I wrote the bass line, and then I like put in all the stuff that I liked from the song, and kind of put it in like my take of the song itself. And the song itself was amazing to remix because it was so diverse in itself. So like that, I think that just came together really nicely. And then I would say like from what the first drop is to like the second drop, which is probably my favorite, is just like it's insane just to see how much I think I learned a lot during writing that song itself. And like that's how a lot of songs are. It's like I either have like a really good idea, but then finishing it is a completely different story. It's just because the one thing is you have to be able to get over listeners' fatigue, like listening to your song over a million times. And if a song is still really special, then like to you and it still means something, then that song is worth like releasing and doing something about. Obviously, there's a lot of times where I have released material which I just no longer care about. I mean, like I like it enough to release it, right? And people, my friends, essentially my ears are telling me that it's good because I'm just fatigued on it. Like doesn't mean it's bad, but
Right.
it's a really interesting balance that you have to walk across. And I know eventually, like one day, like a lot of the artists who inspire me, like G Jones, like E Prom, like they've been like grinding for years, and like there's a point where you just are able to like it's a full expression of yourself in a song, and it means so much more to you, and like you basically also know your limits and whatnot. So I think getting to that point, I'll be more satisfied with everything that I make because like I'll also be putting so much more like time and effort into it. Like versus me right now, I'm kind of like scattering my energy everywhere. Like I either sit down to write music just to write an idea down. So I just like it could be a 16-bar loop of some drop or some idea or something like a beat or something chill, versus like me sitting down actually having to finish something because I have to, because like I was contracted to do a remix, or
Right.
I have to release a song on a label, or I have to release a song for a compilation. It's just like it's like different, but at the same time, what helps me finish a song is like a deadline. So it
Definitely.
just depends.
So yeah, you kind of talked about your influences there for a second. So I wanted to segue into that. Like, what artists inspire you? I mean, I see that you're, definitely bass heavy, which that's what we're looking for, and you got a lot of halftime beats going. But who inspired you? What artists make you? Who do you look up to in the industry?
So I would say like Mr. Carmack and like Saruda like really inspired me to just start producing like to begin with, essentially. And like Flying Lotus and like New Job is, and like
Nice.
a lot of those artists and in general really helped me get my foot in and like just say fuck it and just do it. And then like nowadays, like really like my favorite producers are probably like still Saruda is my top, because like I don't know, Saruda compared to a lot of producers, for me, like I think the way he like expresses an idea in its like own unique little way in his own sampling style, it's just like so out of the box, and that really helps like inspire me to just try something different and like put contrast and put like real feels into a song, or like even a banger of a track, but like it still like has meaning, like
Right.
I don't like making cookie cutter bangers that just mean nothing. Like I like to put like it's just not, if the song isn't like fun to write and like has a meaning to me, then it doesn't mean anything at all. And then like aside from Saruda, I would probably say like Eprom and Alex Perez. I'm gonna group them as shades just because like them together is just amazing. But
Fucking wild.
independently, I love both of them so much. Like Alex Perez is just a god in my eyes, and so is Eprom. And then she is also, over the past year and a half, has become like one of my top favorites. He's like just makes the most craziest like bass heavy productions, but it like there's like an incredible amount of syncopation where it's just not just straight meat in your face. It's just like it's just like this big, really cool melodies. I like to say like he's like the Mr. Carmack for halftime.
Right.
And like I just love that so much. And it's inspired me a lot too, because like I love Mr. Carmack, and that was what helped me inspire to begin with. Help inspire me to produce to begin with. So
Fuck yeah.
yeah, I would say those are my favorites right now, along with a lot of my friends, honestly, who just regularly inspire me every day.
Nice. Yeah, we're gonna have to link up with your friends. All right, so Nik P, that's your moniker, but it seems that that's just a shortened rendition of your name. So what's up with that? You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so like for those of people who don't know, I mean, Nik P is that's my moniker, and like Nik is my nickname. My full name is Nikhil Purohit, which is Indian, and basically like I never really had a name that like I've liked personally. Like whenever I had to think about a name to call myself, I could never come up with something. So I was just like, well, fuck it, I'll just go by my name because like I don't know, like my nickname itself stuck kind of as my real name. Like even my parents call me my nickname, even though like my parents and like close family friends, the people who call me by my full name, it's just like it makes sense. It's short. And I think it's easy to remember, and I think that's important when it comes to like branding of a project or the some sort. So I've had like a few like aliases in the past. Not that I made. I had like friends call me certain things, and it just stuck because like I don't know. I wasn't able to do anything about it. It was just like the crowd, the fan vote.
Yeah.
But I think like Nik P, like I mean, I really like it because it's just simple. It's just my name. It's me. It's me, my raw element, and then like everything that I put out is just like expressions of my ideas. So I think that like that works for me, and I really like. That's why I like when people come up to me asking about my name. I just tell them, just you don't have to put a lot of thought into it. It's just be yourself.
Fuck
That's like
yeah.
the truest form of artistic expression, in my opinion.
No, definitely. I totally agree with that. So is music, is that like your only passion? What else drives your fire? What made you want to produce? Do you want to do anything other than produce?
Right. So I mean, yeah, I love music and I love being a part of the music realm of things. And at the same time, I also am like really heavily inspired by art and like just anything really creative, anything that looks cool, like design, like fashion, etc. Like I really take pride in being able to like just making the artistic side of my project, the way it is, because I think like especially in the realm of music, and the music industry and like shows and live shows, I feel like visuals are extremely important. Um, like I think that's really going to be the next level in the future, where is having shows and performances very heavily integrated with the visual, like the visuals that are like being displayed at that given moment. And
Right.
like I know, and like right now I'm just like still I feel like I'm still learning a lot. Like I learn every time I like sit down to make some kind of visual or something, just something artistic. I learn something every day, and I want to eventually get to the point where I can like have like all these ideas that are in my head that I like wake up to, or like whenever I listen to a song that I like see in my head that I would like to like interpret into a visual idea, come to fruition. And like people like G Jones are like really pushing that envelope and really elevating music up to the level of art with these like AV shows and live shows. And I think that's the next level. I think more people need to do that. In my opinion, I think it makes like your performance to stand out more, because
Yeah.
there's more going on. It's not like you just people looking up and they're just seeing you just like being a fool DJing up there or whatever, having fun. Like it's like they can also see like your visual ideas being shown, and especially in a cool setting. Like for example, Project Base was an insane opportunity, because like they have, I think, by far the coolest projection setup ever. Like they have this really dope projection mapping,
Yeah.
which even changed from the last time I saw it. And it's just really cool to be able to utilize that space to express like my ideas in a setting of me playing music, especially. Um, so like in regards to just music, like I mean, I like to do music, and just make what I like to make, and whatever happens with it will happen. I would still love to just do like visual stuff in the realm of music industry, or like I also study software engineering, so I would like to maybe create um, applications or software that have all these ideas that I'm going for, that I would like to make more of a reality. Like I want to eventually try and make like synced AV productions a little bit easier to do, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe my own way. Like it's a complicated subject, I feel like, but stuff like that. Just creating really is my goal.
Definitely. I feel like that's truly one of the next steps, making a fully immersive experience, audio, visually, hell, even tactilely at some point. And you're definitely headed your way towards that. So we're gonna segue and kind of like pander to all the producers out there because I know this is a question that they're dying to hear. So you said that you produce on Ableton and that's your DAW of choice, but does the DAW necessarily make the beat? Or does the beat make the DAW? What do you think?
Well, I think, I mean, it's an interesting question because like I feel like people can produce in like with different DAWs. Like I really think it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It's just what you're used to and how you use your tools. I will say that certain DAWs kind of do inspire certain trains of thought like a little bit better just based on the workflow. Like I feel like FL really, I don't know, really is really more inspiring for like a cool hip hop flow of production, or like like I know a lot of producers in FL just make like these banging trap beats, which makes sense. And for me, like I think it's more of a cluttered environment to use. Like I don't know, I'm just like really OCD, but my productions, like my project files themselves are like super organized. And like I've even met like producers this year that like have way more organized projects than me, which makes me even rethink what I'm doing at the same time.
Right.
But I don't think that the DAW makes the producer. I think it's the producer, what the producer makes out of the DAW. Really, it's just how you use it and like what tools in the DAWs themselves. Like you don't need all these plugins and whatnot. Like really, it's just like the stock plugins in most DAWs are like phenomenal. Like at least I can speak for Ableton side. Like I mostly just use stock plugins in Ableton, like with like few exceptions of like some synths like FM8 or Massive or Serum, or like some EQ plugins, but like nothing like extremely complicated unless like I'm going for something crazy. But I would just say like even experiment with other DAWs, like which is what I think I'm getting close to doing again. Like I used to mess around with Bitwig, which is what ex Ableton developers created on their own, which is a very interesting DAW. I would recommend anyone to check it out. It's got a cool workflow, very similar to Ableton. I wasn't really too knowledgeable when I was using it compared to now, but something to check out. Also, I've heard of Reaper, which is super cool. The main thing that makes me excited to use Reaper is the fact that you can have multiple projects open like at the same time and just go back and forth between them, which is something like I do all the time because like sometimes I just like have to kind of get all my ideas down and then like go on finishing or doing something entirely.
Nice. So, what piece of advice would you offer to any of the aspiring producers out there, or even if you had a piece of advice that you could give yourself, 5, 10 years ago, what would you let them know?
Well, basically, I mean, this is gonna sound like hella, so I feel like everybody says this, but it's like really just never give up and just keep going. Like, even when you feel like you're gonna get nowhere, like it's just about like all the little baby steps you take to get to your goal. Like it doesn't matter, like you just, it's almost impossible for you to predict the future, what's gonna happen. Like opportunities are just gonna fall into your lap. And like opportunity, like for example, opportunities that fall into my lap, and sometimes like I wish that I had been working a little bit more harder, the past 2 months. That like I could have, instead of just like taking a break like often, or like watching Netflix, or just like not doing anything, or like going out. Like
Yeah.
I wish I could have worked harder. And I guess I don't know. I feel like I'm always like that. But like if I could tell myself a piece of advice like 2-3 years ago, it would be just to like keep working at it, like like start all these like enforce good habits, because I feel like a good 80 to 70% of just producing and becoming good is just showing up, sitting down and just doing something. Like finishing a song, at least for me, is an entirely different story, and I feel like most producers can relate to that. But really just like once you like the stronger the idea and the simpler the idea that you've made, I think it also helps into play a part into your ability to finish the track. Because if it's a really good idea, like as long as you know how to execute on all other parts, like it'll happen. And watching songs just come together like that beautifully, I think is like the most fulfilling thing ever in like writing music. And I feel like it's happened to me only a few times. Like ever, but I know like eventually, like down the road, like when I get to like 4 or 5, 6 years into producing, I know like I'll know my limits. I'll be much more well-rounded in a lot of aspects of producing, and it all just comes down to like how many steps you took every single day, or maybe not every day, every week to get to your goal. I think that's like the most important thing.
Yeah.
And most people don't realize that, in looking in the long term of things, just about how much little bit of work you pile up every day, even when nothing's happening. And staying inspired is super important. So like I don't know, the main way I stay inspired is just through listening to music on SoundCloud and like going to a few shows occasionally and just getting really inspired by the live performance side of things and like talking to people and like getting excited, like getting that adrenaline, like that like all helps mold the way like I am in the way I face music just on a regular basis.
Fuck yeah. You hear that, producers? Go out there and just do some work, man. No excuses. Make it happen. So what does Nik P have coming up in the future? You said you got a lot of collabs that's gonna drop. Who are you working with? What do you have planned for the future? What's going on in 2019? I know that's fucking ages from now, but what do you want to do?
Well, yes, I got a bunch of stuff coming up soon. I'll say like at least the next month or two, I believe I have a couple of songs dropping on a couple of my friends' labels for their compilations. Definitely gonna have a track coming out for my Collective Blacks compilation that will be coming out on Halloween. I'm still working on getting finished up. Got in November, like November 1st or 2nd, I'm playing November 2nd, playing Nightfall, which is going to be really fun.
Nice.
Halloween themed festival out in Denton, thrown by O Bleep, which is going to be super sick. I'm really looking forward to it because me and all the homies are on the bill, so it's going to be a good time. Then in December, playing Lights All Night, which is going to be super sick. I still am in shock that I'm playing that festival because it's like one of the few festivals I ever knew in Dallas to begin with, like many years ago, and like just me playing it
that's
in
fucking
2018
huge.
is like surreal. And I'm playing it with one of my best friends, Typo. So we gotta, there's gonna be a lot of treats that we're gonna rinse out. It's gonna be a good time. But yeah, I can't really be too sure on what other tracks I have coming out. I just have a bunch of unreleased at the moment that I'm, trying to get to the point of perfection and, at least being done rather instead of saying perfection. Well, I will say that I'll probably have at least about a good 4 to 6 tracks hopefully out by the end of the year. 2019 probably will be a really interesting year. I think a lot of doors have been opened for me. I think probably 2019 will be the first year I actually personally embark on for real making an EP. Like I have made a couple of EPs in the past, never released them because never really fulfilled my entire vision to begin with. But I think that's going to be something I can achieve in 2019 at this point in time. So as that meme goes, big things coming soon. Big things.
Fuck yeah, man. I'm super glad you were able to bless us with some of your unreleased. So if anybody wants to find you on fucking Instagram, SoundCloud, Vampire Freaks, whatever, where can they find you? What's your socials? What's your @?
I believe on all my socials it should be @Nik Purohit, just my name. Yeah, you should be able to find me there. If not, look harder. Or just message me and I'll send you my socials. But yeah, it should just be under my name.
Fuck yeah, man. So thanks, man. I just want to say you are a goddamn mad genius in the lab, and it was such a
Thanks,
blessing to
dog.
have you on our show. Maybe just one more question. If you could possibly recommend anybody else for Third Coast Base Radio, who would you recommend? I know you got a lot of talented
Oh
friends
yeah,
out there.
all right. Let me unload here real quick. Well,
There we go.
first of all, my boy Cam Typo got a lot of heat. He just put out a tune the other day that was super fire. My boy Designer Toys, Christoph, also been cooking up a lot. Like those two have been grinding hella hard. I'd say any of my Lysergic boys like Austin or Jordan or Jason or Reese, like any of those guys, like they've been grinding hella hard. Been keeping hella quiet until like I linked up with Austin about over the summer. But like all those guys got heat. I'm sure there's hella producers that I've been missing out on. I mean, a lot of my friends who write a lot of house and bassline have been killing it too, like Greed, Brady, so many people.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, there's truly too many people out there that are making moves in the bass music scene, and it's really, it just goes back to what I was saying. Like I guess the people I surround myself with, all my friends, like everyone's kind of pushing themselves forward really hard, and that's really inspiring to me. It's also trying to tell me that I need to work harder all the time, and
Yeah.
it all comes down at the end of the day. It all plays out.
Fuck yeah. Well, we're going to try and get all those guys on the show. Well, I'm not going to take up any more of your time, man, because you've already blessed us with so much, bro. I just want to thank you once again for being on the show. Yo, Third
Yeah, man.
Coast Base
Thanks again.
Radio. Remember that you guys heard that shit here first. This is Nik P in the mix. Yo, peace and love.
Hey, peace, guys. Brah.
We're going to go ahead and hand the reins over to my boy Kid Luna and Evolve Music up next. Third Coast Base Radio. You heard that shit here first. Blit!
The ghost. That mix was crazy, man. Had a bunch of house tracks, man. Some trap or hip hop tracks in there, man. I got David, known as Evolve, man. How do you want to be called, man? You want to be David Evolved?
I don't know, man. For me, I guess I'm just used to people calling me David.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. We're gonna call you Evolve.
All right,
but yo, so man, I really do like that name Evolve, especially when you're like in electronica music, cause like it gives you room to like experiment with like other things without really having to change your alias or anything,
Right.
cause it can just be like, oh, it falls into the name, you know.
Definitely.
Especially being a creator, like most creators, like during time, like they evolve, you know, musically.
Exactly.
And you know, because I mean, I went from making certain type of genre to another one, you know. But your name definitely fits that bill, man. But let's go ahead and get into it, man. How'd that name come about?
It's funny because you were mentioning how people change. Like, I've had hella stage names, monikers, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Like I was Drift, and then I was Kamikaze, and then I was, Lil D, and like all kinds of stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to be a rapper first, right?
Word.
And then getting free beats and stuff, like that's cool. And then you start wanting like original beats that no one else has. And when you don't have the budget for it, you start making them. So like we got some Fruity Loops, and somebody had a computer. Like me and a couple friends just started, making beats from there. We're like, this was when we were like 13, 14, just fucking around on a fucking Windows 98 computer using sound recorder, like just to experiment,
So by chance, like someone can look you up to find your rap career? Is it still up?
My MySpace might be still up. Like real shit, because like I guess one of my ex-girlfriends like vindictively changed my password or something.
Oh, whoa.
And I just could never get back into it, so that's when I was like, fuck it, I'll just do Facebook from now on.
She became you. She became that rap.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there could be some rap songs on there. You could catch a hot old school Evolve verse, you know what I'm saying? Hot 16 real fast.
Nice. Man, so and I know tonight, man, you brought us like some house and like some hip hop tracks, but you also produce dub, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like we were talking earlier, and I just like making what's feeling right at the moment.
Yeah.
Right, I'll take a J to the face, and then just let my ideas flow. And I've been listening to dubstep. Oh, I'm gonna sound like a hipster now, but I've been listening to dubstep since 2010.
Yeah.
I had my first experience with drugs at a rave, and it was on and popping from there. I remember seeing Rusko when there was like 50 people at EDC 2011. No one knew who Rusko was, what dubstep was, but to see it grow into what it is now is crazy. But I found like with Evolve that the house music sticks more with that name, and I think it's going back to what you were saying, like people immediately equate like electronic music to like house, and then like the different subgenres of house as far as like the first immediate thought. So I think experimenting with different sounds in house music kind of does go with Evolve, like you were saying.
Yeah. With that, man, so when you're staring at your doll, whatever you want to use to create what you do create, man, like how do you go about that? How do you look at that empty canvas and kind of want to like what do you start with? You start with the drums, or do you start with the lead chords, or
lately I've been kind of like, when I watch something or I listen to something, like I'll just get inspired by a certain sound, and I don't necessarily want to recreate the sound or use that specific sound, but I'll take that inspiration and I'll take it to Ableton, and I don't know, usually I like to start with a synth.
Yeah.
just a basic default patch in like Serum or something like that. Just experiment from there. But I'm not afraid to just throw that idea away and then just like, okay, well, maybe if I start with the drums, maybe I'll get something going. Because I think sometimes you kind of need to shake it up, because if you go about it like, I need kick first, snare, and then this, and then this, and then putting something out, like that works for some people. But for me, if I do that, like, it's all my music tends to sound the same, and all my music tends to like just be different versions of the same thing. So I like to, like, okay, well, I started on with a synth on the last song. Okay, I'm gonna start with maybe a cool movie sample or a cool just sound that I found in a random sound pack that I was looking in. You know, but I think there's really no wrong way to do it. I don't think, as long as it sounds good and you get a creative flow going, no matter what. That's what I think. You know.
Yeah, for sure. So how long have you been producing for?
That's there's like 4 or 5 different answers to that.
Let's take number one. Let's go.
Okay, so like I was talking about, like we were experimenting on Fruit Loops when we were super young, you know, still in high school. But that was stuff, you know, we did on weekends whenever we'd get together, you know, me and my friends, like, and we did for fun. Like, we didn't think that, you know, this could take us anywhere, because like, oh, well, yeah, we're doing it for fun. And, you know, putting stuff on SoundClick, I don't know if y'all know what that is, but it's like an old website where you can get instrumentals and you could upload music, and they had their own charts and stuff like that, right? It's like a pseudo SoundCloud before SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just upload stuff on that, and then we stopped, you know, just got into different things. Like, I got into the band when I was in high school, and I got really into it, so we didn't have really much time to, you know, make beats or do whatever. But then I was like 18 when I got a badass laptop, and I was like, okay, cool. Now I can really maybe do this. And then got out of high school, still bullshitting. And about 3 years ago, I was like, all right.
That's when you...
Yeah, it's time to stop bullshitting. I need to up my game and just concentrate on the craft, you know. And you know, drugs is a powerful thing. Like, you know, an addiction will take you...
Sponsor.
And like, I don't know. It's just... Sometimes you get distracted. But yeah. I'm on the right track now. You know, we're thriving out here. Trying to, anyway.
Yeah, same here, man. We all are.
But yeah, it's about 3-4 years ago. I was like, okay, time to buckle down and like actually navigate this thing, this industry that's...
Take it seriously.
Yeah, that's a monster, you know? And yeah, but I'm always like, it's about the content. So, you know, it might be a daunting task to break in and like get some notoriety and get some recognition, but I firmly believe as long as the content is there,
yeah,
everything will be okay, you know. And you gotta have time to dedicate, because like,
true.
Yeah, if you have the money, like, go get a ghost producer, go do whatever you want to do. If you have the money, more power to you. But I guarantee you that won't feel as good as like when your art is being listened to, your art is being grooved to, danced to, whatever, you know. Like, and it's yours. You didn't buy it to release. You know, I don't know. No, and I'm just rambling, but
for you, what's the worst part in production? The beginning or the end of it, when you're going to the mix down?
The mix and master.
Yeah.
Easy. Because, you know, you could get a song fleshed out in a day, but then it's going to take you hours upon hours to tweak and adjust everything that you need. Well, because the more you do it, the more you train your ear. And the more you train your ear, the more stuff you pick up. And it's just like a never-ending cycle. You know, at some point, like, and I think this is a skill, you have to learn how to call a song finished.
Yeah.
You need to learn, like, okay, there's only so much tweaking I can do before this song becomes something completely different than I originally envisioned. You know, I think that, and that's a problem that a lot of producers have. Like they'll sit on something, or they'll tweak it and tweak it and tweak it, and then it's like completely different from a song you had a couple versions ago that you really liked, but just wanted to change one thing, and then you change another. I've had whole songs just get scrapped like that. Like, dang, I like that song, but I just fucked with it too much, so I had to scrap it. You know.
Man, so do you have any like influences in the music industry? Anybody you look up to that that are, you know, keeping you motivated?
As of right now, in terms of just straight up sound design, Infinite, Al Ross in terms of like sub basses and stuff. Okay. You know, the cliche Dirty Bird stuff is always really good, and there's like people who are doing some really sick stuff with on the Dirty Bird label.
Yeah.
But I listen to more hip hop than anything when I'm not making music. So, Lil Baby, I'm banging right now. And all the like as far as producers on the hip hop side, like the first producer I ever started paying attention to is Timbaland.
Yeah.
And like all the different like types of drums he would use, because they're like he started using like African drums and and drum beats and like baby sounds and birds and these types of sounds that all together orchestrated these masterpieces with Aaliyah, with Missy, with all these people that like that they will live on forever, and because he had the vision to be different, and that's what I like a lot. You know, the South Side's Drummer Boy, I don't think he gets enough credit with this whole trap thing. Him and Lex Luger do not get enough credit at all, because they're the ones who like trap now is a little different, but they started the sub and the triple kicks and like and the crazy hi-hats and all that and the gun sounds. They started, and then like 808 Mafia came in there too, you know.
Yeah.
Fuck, Manny Fresh. Fuck, dude, yeah. I could just sit here all day and talk.
No problem, music. Man. That's what we're about, man. Music. Man, is there any upcoming things you got going on? You got any shows? You got any music coming out? Singles, albums?
Nothing that's been announced yet. But as far as like shows, I've taken like more or less hiatus. Like I haven't been actively looking for shows.
Yeah.
You know, just for the past year and a half, just because I was like, okay, there's a bunch of DJs right now in the city that we're in. What do I need to do? Well, I'm not as good as of a producer as some of these people. Okay, mm-hmm. What do I need to do? Work on my craft. So that's what I've been doing for the past year and a half. But start 2019, we're gonna start taking bookings, because I have a manager now, and we're, you know, plotting out, you know, where we need to go and what we need to do and who we need to hit up. So I think 2019 is gonna be a good year.
Nice, man. Man, did you got any plugs you want to plug in, man? I know you got a podcast of your own and
follow me at the Elevate podcast. It's a ELEVAT3 podcast on Apple Podcasts and SoundCloud. You just follow me on social media at Evolv Music, EVOLV3 Music, across all platforms: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everything. Literally all the same thing. Announcements coming soon though. We're gonna have some music drop before the end of the year.
Nice.
But yeah, 2019 is when we're gonna make some moves.
Nice, man. Well, it was nice having you on the podcast, man.
It was my pleasure, man. Thank you.
Some dope tracks, man. I can't
Appreciate
wait to hear more work from you, man.
Yeah.
This was Third Coast Base Radio. This is me, Kid Luna, and we got Metaphysics in here. And y'all have a good one.
Yo, so once again, this is Third Coast Base Radio. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, MySpace, whatever you want to follow us on. Just look us up. Third Coast Base Radio. We out.